Pop music is a genre of popular music that originated in its modern form during the mid-1950s in the United States and the United Kingdom. During the 1950s and 1960s, pop music encompassed rock and roll and the youth-oriented styles it influenced. Rock and pop music remained roughly synonymous until the late 1960s, after which pop became associated with music that was more commercial, ephemeral, and accessible. Identifying factors of pop music usually include repeated choruses and hooks, short to medium-length songs written in a basic format, often the verse-chorus structure, and rhythms or tempos that can be easily danced to. Much pop music also borrows elements from other styles such as rock, urban, dance, Latin, and country. The terms popular music and pop music are often used interchangeably, although the former more accurately describes all music that is popular and includes many disparate styles. Although much of the music that appears on record charts is considered to be pop music, the genre is distinguished from chart music. Characteristics. According to Frith, characteristics of pop music include an aim of appealing to a general audience rather than to a particular subculture or ideology, and an emphasis on craftsmanship rather than formal artistic qualities. Besides, Frith also offers three identifying characteristics of pop music: light entertainment, commercial imperatives, and personal identification. Pop music grew out of a light entertainment and easy listening tradition. Pop music is more conservative than other music genres such as folk, blues, country, and tradition. Many pop songs do not contain themes of resistance, opposition, or political themes, rather focusing more on love and relationships. Therefore, pop music does not challenge its audiences socially and does not cause political activism. Frith also said the main purpose of pop music is to create revenue. It is not a medium of free articulation of the people. Instead, pop music seeks to supply the nature of personal desire and achieve the instant empathy with cliché personalities, stereotypes, and melodrama that appeals to listeners. It is mostly about how much revenue pop music makes for record companies. Music scholar Timothy Warner said pop music typically has an emphasis on recording, production, and technology, rather than live performance. A tendency to reflect existing trends rather than progressive developments, and seeks to encourage dancing or uses dance-oriented rhythms. Amr Diab, Egyptian pop star, named El Hadaba for achieving high record sales in the Middle East and Africa for the last 3 decades. The main medium of pop music is the song, often between 2.5 and 3.5 minutes in length, generally marked by a consistent and noticeable rhythmic element, a mainstream style, and a simple traditional structure. The structure of many popular songs is that of a verse and a chorus, the chorus serving as the portion of the track that is designed to stick in the ear through simple repetition, both musically and lyrically. The chorus is often where the music builds towards, and is often preceded by the drop, where the bass and drum parts drop out. Common variants include the verse-chorus form and the 32-bar form, with a focus on melodies and catchy hooks, and a chorus that contrasts melodically, rhythmically, and harmonically with the verse. The beat and the melodies tend to be simple, with limited harmonic accompaniment. The lyrics of modern pop songs typically focus on simple themes, often love and romantic relationships, although there are notable exceptions. Harmony and chord progressions in pop music are often that of classical European tonality, only more simple-minded. Clichés include the barbershop quartet-style harmony, I-E-E-V-I, and blues scale-influenced harmony. There was a lessening of the influence of traditional views of the circle of fifths between the mid-1950s and the late 1970s, including less predominance for the dominant function. In October 2023, Billboard compiled a list of the 500 best pop songs. In doing so, it noted the difficulty of defining pop songs. One of the reasons pop can be hard to summarize is because there's no real sonic or musical definition to it. There are common elements to a lot of the biggest pop songs, but at the end of the day, pop means popular first and foremost, and just about any song that becomes popular enough can be considered a pop song. International spread and cross-pollination. Michael Jackson, left, and Madonna, right, have been dubbed respectively as the king and queen of pop since the 1980s. Pop music has been dominated by the American and, from the mid-1960s, British music industries, whose influence has made pop music something of an international monoculture. but most regions and countries have their own form of pop music, sometimes producing local versions of wider trends and lending them local characteristics. Some of these trends, for example Europop, have had a significant impact on the development of the genre. Vocally, Whitney Houston is one of the world's most influential pop vocalists since the 1980s and has been referred to as the Voice for her vocal talent. According to Grove Music Online, Western-derived pop styles, whether coexisting with or marginalizing distinctively local genres, have spread throughout the world and have come to constitute stylistic common denominators in global commercial music cultures. Some non-Western countries, such as Japan, have developed a thriving pop music industry, most of which is devoted to Western-style pop. Japan has for several years produced a greater quantity of music than everywhere except the US. The spread of Western-style pop music has been interpreted variously as representing processes of Americanization, homogenization, modernization, creative appropriation, cultural imperialism, or a more general process of globalization. One of the pop music styles that developed alongside other music styles is Latin pop, which rose in popularity in the US during the 1950s with early rock and roll success, Richie Valens. Later, Los Lobos and Chicano rock gained in popularity during the 1970s and 1980s, and musician Selena saw large-scale popularity in the 1980s and 1990s, along with crossover appeal with fans of Tejano musicians Lydia Mendoza and Little Joe. With later Hispanic and Latino Americans seeing success within pop music charts, 1990s pop successes stayed popular in both their original genres and in broader pop music. Latin pop hit singles, such as Macarena by Los Del Rio and Despacito by Luis Fonsi, have seen record-breaking success on worldwide pop music charts. Notable pop artists of the late 20th century that became global superstars include Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Madonna, George Michael, and Prince.